The Apple Macintosh II is the first personal computer model of the Macintosh II series in the Apple Macintosh line and the first Macintosh to support a color display. A basic system with 20 MB drive and monitor cost about $5,500, a complete color-capable system could cost as much as $10,000 once the cost of the color monitor, video card, hard disk, keyboard and RAM were added. This price placed it in competition with workstations from Silicon Graphics, Sun Microsystems and Hewlett-Packard. The Macintosh II was designed by hardware engineers Michael Dhuey and Brian Berkeley and industrial designer Hartmut Esslinger. History: two common criticisms of the Macintosh from its introduction in 1984 were the closed architecture and lack of color. Rumors of a color Macintosh began almost immediately. The Macintosh II project was begun by Dhuey and Berkeley during 1985 without the knowledge of Apple co-founder and Macintosh division head Steve Jobs, who opposed features like expansion slots and color, on the basis that the former complicated the user experience and the latter did not conform to WYSIWYG, since color printers were not common. Initially referred to as Little Big Mac, it was codenamed Milwaukee after Dewey's hometown, and later went through a series of new names, including Reno, Uzi, and Paris. After Jobs was fired from Apple in September 1985, the project could proceed openly. Introduced in March 1987 and retailing for $5,498, the Macintosh II was the first modular Macintosh model, so called because it came in a horizontal desktop case like many IBM PC compatibles of the time. All previous Macintosh computers used an all-in-one design with a built-in black and white CRT. The Macintosh II had drive bays for an internal hard disk and an optional second floppy disk drive. It, along with the Macintosh SE, was the first Macintosh computer to use the Apple Desktop Bus introduced with the Apple IIGS for keyboard and mouse interface. The primary improvement in the Mac II was Color Quick Draw in ROM, a color version of the graphics language which was the heart of the machine. Among the many innovations in Color Quick Draw were an ability to handle any display size, any color depth, and multiple monitors. With its pioneering support for 32-bit color, Mac II was the first personal computer which could display true color photorealistic images without aftermarket upgrades. Because Color Quick Draw was included in the Mac II's ROM, earlier Macintoshes could not be upgraded to display color. Features: the Mac II featured a Motorola 68020 processor operating at 16 MHz teamed with a Motorola 68881 floating-point unit. The machine shipped with a socket for an MMU, but the Apple HMMU chip was installed that did not implement virtual memory. Standard memory was 1 MB, expandable to 8 MB. RAM could be maxed out to 128 MB, however, if the ROMs were upgraded to those used in the iX, as the stock Mac II ROMs had bugs preventing use of more than 8 MB of RAM. The Mac II had 8 30-pin SIMMs, and memory was installed in groups of 4. A 5.25-inch 40 MB internal SCSI hard disk was optional, as was a second internal 800 KB 3.5-inch floppy disk drive. 6 new bus slots were available for expansion. It is possible to connect as many as 6 displays to a Macintosh II by filling all of the new bus slots with graphics cards. Another option for expansion included the Mac II86, which included an Intel 80286 chip and could be used for MS-DOS emulation. The original ROMs in the Macintosh II contained a bug which prevented the system from recognizing more than 1 MB of memory address space on a new bus card. Every Macintosh II manufactured up until about November 1987 had this defect. This happened because Slot Manager was not 32-bit clean. Apple offered a well-publicized recall of the faulty ROMs and released a program to test whether a particular Macintosh II had the defect. As a result, it is rare to find a Macintosh II with the original ROMs. The Macintosh II and Macintosh SE were the first Apple computers since the Apple I to be sold without a keyboard. Instead, the customer was offered the choice of the new ADB Apple keyboard or the Apple Extended keyboard as a separate purchase. Dealers could bundle a third-party keyboard or attempt to upsell a customer to the more expensive Extended keyboard. The Macintosh II was followed by a series of related models including the Macintosh iX and Macintosh IE, all of which used the Motorola 68030 processor. It was possible to upgrade a Macintosh II to a Macintosh iX or IE with a motherboard swap. The Macintosh II was the first Macintosh to have the chimes of death accompany the sad Mac logo whenever a serious hardware error occurred. The new extensions featured for the Macintosh II at the time were AROSE and Sound Manager. Graphics card: the card was unaccelerated, but it had a 16.7 million color palette. It supported two resolutions, 512A, 384 and 640A, 480, and was available in two configurations, 4-bit and 8-bit. The 4-bit model supports 16 colors on a 640A, 480 display, 256 colors on a 512A, 384 display, which means that VRAM was 256 kilobytes. The 8-bit model supports 8-bit/256 color video on a 640A, 480 display, which means that VRAM was 512 kilobytes in size. With an optional RAM upgrade, the 4-bit version supports 640A, 480 and 8-bit color. See also, List of display interfaces, Macintosh XL, Macintosh Plus, Macintosh SE. References. External links, apple-history.com, Macintosh 2 on forevermac.com, Mac 2 profile on low-end Mac Macintosh 2 technical specifications at apple.com.